Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I am Samantha Russell from 20 over 10. As you can hear, my voice is really struggling, and I'm hoping it will make it through the whole hour without giving out on us all today. But thankfully, I'm not talking the whole time because joining me is Amanda Larson from our marketing team. She's our director of marketing here at 20 over 10. And we are so excited to talk with you all about a daily, weekly digital marketing schedule proven to work for financial advisors. So we get asked all the time, and especially this time of year when it's the end of year, we're all thinking about the new year and what we want to do to grow our businesses. And so it's really a timely topic and one we hope you get a lot out of. I also just want to remind you all that because you signed up to be here today, you are going to get an amazing packet filled with great resources that you can take after you leave here today and implement and use. So we will go over what is in that packet as well, but that will be emailed out to you afterwards so that you have the template, exactly what you need to implement all of this moving forward. I am actually coming to you live from Sanibel Island in Florida, hence my surroundings. So pardon, this is the only quiet place in this beach house right now with my kids here. And Amanda, you want to tell everybody where you're at?
Hi, everyone. I wish I was on an island. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we are actually just getting ready for some cold. I think we had like our first cold snap yesterday. So it's very
What's
strange.
cold there?
Cold here. I think it got down to like in the mid 20s last night.
Oh, that's cold. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
So if I have any fellow Sanibel or Captiva vacation fans, give us a shout out in the chat box. Or if you are joining us today from vacation home or wherever you live, let us know where you're joining us from. We'd love to see the locations of those attending. I just did a presentation yesterday for dimensional funds, and we had hundreds of people from all over the world. It was really cool to see the great locations. So thank you all for being here. So we're going to go ahead and jump in, and this is being recorded. So if you need to leave, you need to answer a phone call, you get distracted, don't worry. You can watch the recording later. We got lots of people from wonderful places everywhere, from Madison, Wisconsin to Detroit to Toronto, Lake Geneva. Oh, Lake Geneva, that is a great location. Some fellow Sanibel fans. Great. We're so happy to have you all here. Oh, Jason might win the farthest in the UK. Oh, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Wow, Amanda, we got a global audience.
Yeah, that's exciting.
All right. So I, again, am Samantha Russell. I am the Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer here at 20 over 10. I feel like I know so many of you so well because of social media. If you have not already, please connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Samantha C. Russell, or on Twitter, Samantha20. I love connecting with all of you. I haven't been active on social media all week because I have been very under the weather. And I'm sure when I hop back on, it's going to be so fun to get to see everybody's posts and what everyone's been up to. But yes, please connect with me there. My background and story is that 5 years ago, my husband, who's one of the co-founders of 20 over 10, had the idea to launch this business, and I was employee number one that came on board, and we have been hitting the ground, helping advisors throughout the US and the world market ever since. So excited to be here with all of you today, and even more excited to have Amanda out from behind the scenes on the camera. Amanda, tell us about yourself.
Yes, I made an appearance from behind the curtain. So I'm going to do my best to still, answer questions that come through chat, but also, share some insights with you all today. So I'm excited to be here. Excited to see some familiar names popping up in the chat. So if you don't know me, I'm Amanda. I'm the Director of Marketing here at 20 over 10. I kind of straddle the line between working with our clients and then also managing all of our marketing efforts for the brand for 20 over 10. So I may have worked with you on some SEO initiatives for your website. And then I also, manage our social media efforts, our email marketing efforts, and all that good stuff.
So if you see great content from 20 over 10, whether it's on our blog or in our email newsletters or on social media, that's Amanda and her team that do a phenomenal job helping educate everybody. So I always give it up for Amanda because she's doing such a good job helping get that amazing content out there. So last thing we want to know, tell us how you heard about today's event. Drop it in the chat. Did you get an email from us? Did somebody from Dimensional or your broker dealer tell you about it? Did you see a post on social media? We would love to know where everybody is coming from. Okay. So Amanda, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, so if you did get an email from us, or if you found out about this event on social media, you notice that we're going to talk about, exactly what you need to do Monday through Friday, AM and PM, to cover all of your marketing initiatives. So we'll talk about, what you need to do Monday morning. If it's sending an email or posting to social, we're going to walk you through day by day. And sort of combination with that will be, how, if you are going to be posting a blog on Monday, what should you be doing to that blog to really give it the most impact, making sure that it's optimized for search engines like Google, all of that good stuff. Emails, obviously, too. That's a huge piece of your daily marketing efforts. We're going to talk a lot about, what can you do to your emails to ensure that they get opened by your recipients, some tips and tricks there. And just social media in general. I know that that's, another big question a lot of people have is, getting more comments and more likes and just more traction on social. So we'll talk a lot about that as well.
So we're seeing from a lot of people that email is how they got here. One big takeaway is that when it comes to actually making an impact, getting ROI from your efforts, email is still one of the most effective. Amanda will tell you when we send out emails for events, the signups go through the roof. That's where we get the most signups for an event always, 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 always. So do not disregard email. Some people will say email's dead. That is 100% not true. My favorite comment thus far of how people got here is from Kristen Prentice, who says she's no clue how she got here. She thinks it might be from LinkedIn or email. Thank you, Kristen. I feel like that every day. I have no clue how I got where I am, but we're here. So let's do this. Okay. All right. So some of the common marketing plan and marketing schedule challenges that we hear from all of the advisors we work with. And Amanda put these up here because she hears them even more than me. It's tempting to be all things to all people everywhere. You want to be on every channel. You want to be having a presence on every social media platform, and you're trying to do it all, right? But then at the same time, you don't really know which platforms are most effective and where you should be prioritizing your time. So it's often you feel like you're spending the same amount of time everywhere and you're not getting good results. Also, not having enough staff to execute it is a really common challenge. Or you feel like you don't have the staff, you don't have enough time, you don't have the budget yourself. So tell us in the chat, what is your biggest challenge that you face right now? Is it money? Is it not knowing what to do? Is it not having personally the time to do it? You don't know how to hire somebody because you don't know what you should ask them to do. Do you feel like if you just had a good schedule, you could implement it? Is it not having good content to share? What's your biggest challenge? Share that with us so that we can all see how everybody else is struggling with. One thing I wanted to make sure I hit on before we dive into the daily schedule is that you should be spending at a minimum 1 hour per day on your marketing. So that equals 5 hours a week. So if you can't do it every day, and I say one hour a day, 1 hour per business day, you might push that forward in the beginning of the week and spend 2 hours on Monday and a little bit less time each day, 45 minutes other days. But 5 hours at a minimum. When we see people really start to get great progress, they're doing like 10 to 15 hours a week. And then, the really, really great firms that are really excelling at this are doing 20 to 25. So that sounds like, almost a full-time job for somebody, and it is. And that, we understand that, but just to give you kind of those benchmarks so you can think about where your own firm falls. So Amanda, what are people saying in the chat about what their biggest challenges are?
There's a good mix, everyone's kind of saying all of the above. Some are saying lack of content, lack of time, no manpower and staff. So it's a good mix.
Okay. We'll try to tackle it all for you. All right, so we're going to dive right in. Again, this is a daily schedule for you. This is 100% a sample. You can do this a lot of different ways. What we're trying to do is to show you a schedule that we know would work if you implemented it, but we want you to take this schedule and then be able to tweak it for your own offices. So keep that in mind. This is not like commandments that you can never break or move things around. This is a schedule, sample schedule that is a great starting point. Okay. So starting on Monday, every single week, we want you to have an original piece of content that's going to be the basis for your week going forward. Now, if you have the higher end of things, right? We talked about some firms spending 20 hours a week. You might have the ability to create that content in-house. If you do not, then you might need to create it yourself. Amanda, can you see that Slack message that popped up on my screen? Okay, good. I just realized my Slack is not turned off. I don't want everybody seeing those messages. I'm going to do that. But you want to either create the content yourself, or you can pull content from somewhere else. So you can see here on the screen our lead pilot tool. If you're a 20 over 10 website customer, you should have access to our content library in app where you can use content from there. So whether you're taking a piece of content that is given to you and editing it for your audience or writing it from scratch, you want to start the week off with what is that piece that you're going to really be prioritizing. Okay. So let me show you a couple quick things. So the first thing is on your website, and I'm going to make sure that my screen is sharing the right thing. So let me just stop this and share again. All right. So whatever your content is, you're going to put it first on your website. Okay. So again, if you're a 20 over 10 customer, you're going to go into your blog and you can either add your own original piece of content. So you would click original content, you'd put in your title, your URL, everything, whether you use 20 over 10 or a different platform. If you're not using 20 over 10, same thing, add your content to your website. If you are a 20 over 10 customer and you want to take a piece from the library and make it more specific to your audience, that is a great way to do it, right? So you can come over here, you can choose an article and then go, in there and make edits for your particular audience, right? So let's say, let's say we want to do this one down here. We're going to edit the post. So what I mean by this is make it your own. You take this article that we've pre-written for you, common financial mistakes high net worth real estate investors make, and you can say common financial mistakes high net worth real estate investors make in Naples, Florida, right? And you could say the average home price for a luxury condo in Naples is now blah, 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 blah. With so many first-time home buyers are buying their second home in the Naples area, these are the common challenges that we see them making. So you can make it your own. You can come in here, you can edit this. The main thing that you want to do with any article, whether you write it yourself or you edit a piece that is given to you, is make sure that it has the keywords that you want to rank for in your post. And we'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Amanda's going to teach us a little bit about SEO, but you want to make sure that in some of these main sections, you're including those keywords. So that is what we're talking about when we're saying create that first original piece of content. Now, if you don't like to write and you want to create a video or a podcast, that's fine. And it's really easy to do that. You can go in, put all your titles in, and then drop a video right in here to your page. Just be prepared that you still want to put the summary or the transcript of what that video is about as a text-based post, because the algorithms cannot read your video. So you need to type it all out so that the Google bot, when it crawls the page, it knows what your video is all about. So you still want to list that all out below it, right? So that's the first thing you want to do. Every single Monday morning, you're going to prioritize that first original piece of content. Amanda, did I miss anything? Any questions about that?
No, I think that was good. I think that, there's been some questions about the content library and sort of the differences between Content Assist and Lead Pilot content. So I just put a link in the chat for everyone if you want to compare the two side by side. There are some differences. The Lead Pilot library has a lot more interactive content. So within the Lead Pilot library, you'll be able to find infographics, videos, and we have some other interactive content coming soon. I think there was another question about Canadian-based content in our library. So that is definitely something that we've been working on behind the scenes. So we hope to release more Canadian content, Sam, within the next 2 weeks or so?
Yes, so we have 25 Canadian specific pieces that are coming out by the end of this month. So stay tuned for that. And there are a lot of other pieces in both of our libraries that can be used by people anywhere, just as a heads up, that are much more lifestyle. I know the clip we're showing is all about the US elections because that was the big news that just happened. And we try to be as timely with what we push out for our customers as possible. So because that was such a big headline, we wanted you to all be able to easily get in front of your clientele with information about the elections and about potential changes to their finances, estates, taxes. But typically, we have a really good mix of things that can be used by a lot of our international clients as well. So just one question that came in that I do think is worth showing. Oops. And then I'll have Amanda tell us her SEO secrets, is if somebody was asking, what does it look like to put the text below the video? So we actually do this on our own blog. So if you go to the Lead Pilot blog, you'll see here's a video of me talking about the key performance metrics that any website owner should track. What's an average number of site visitors for a financial advisor to get? What's an average bounce rate? Like all these different metrics. And then you'll see below it the video transcript, right? So we've listed out basically what I'm saying in the video. It's not word for word, we're summarizing it, but we're typing it all out below the video. And that's again because Google cannot crawl this video. So you can definitely do a combination. You can take content that you already have, make a video about it, and pop the video into the article, or you can create the video first and then summarize below. And when I'm talking about how you pop something in and what that actually looks like, let me just show you. So if I have this video and I just take the URL right there and I come back here and I insert video, it's just going to pop it right into my piece. And then once I create that post, I've already used this one before. Okay, and then we'll come back here to the blog. And again, we're going to see that it's going to be right there. And then the video is right below it. So that's what we're talking about. So we always want to start with the content, picking one piece and adding it to your website. That's what we want to start with because Google is going to rank websites higher that are updated regularly than those that are not. So at least once a week, we want you to do this. If you miss a week, it's not going to be the end of the world, but at least once a week is a really good cadence. Now, we talked a lot about how it's good for SEO, but what else can you do to make sure that your posts rank well? We'll come back to the 4 p.m. comment on at least 5 posts because we're going to talk about that every single day. But Amanda, I'm going to hand it over to you and have you talk a little bit about how you can write an SEO friendly post, or if you're taking content we're providing and editing it, what can you do to edit it to be SEO friendly?
Yeah, definitely. So Samantha touched on this a little bit earlier and just kind of infusing some of those keywords into, the blog posts, whether it's original content you're coming up with from scratch or using, anything from the content assist library. Um, Using tools like your Google Search Console and Google Keyword Planner, or just going to Google and doing your own search to kind of see, those suggestions from Google of what other people are searching for can really help you in sort of determining what kinds of keywords you should use in the title of your blog post. And then also throughout the header tags, like Samantha was showing earlier. So your header tags are those larger text areas that sort of break up your blog post. So, this makes it really easy for your visitors to digest. So it's UX friendly by sort of organizing your content into different buckets. But it also helps Google, sort of rank your content as well. So you're going to get priority in those header tags versus your just normal paragraph text. Um, so those are two big things, in kind of incorporating keywords into each of your blog posts. I'd say that, obviously the other thing is adding metadata. You'll see in this screenshot here within our platform 20 over 10, we have, a sort of baked in SEO section for every single one of your blog posts. So making sure that this is filled out is really important. And sort of the secret sauce for these is to keep them to 160 characters. And I usually tell people to think of them like ad copy because they're going to show up right within the results pages when someone goes to Google and does a search. So it's really going to be, the teaser text to sort of entice people, get them excited, and get them to click into your website at the end of the day. So those are definitely important to add in. Some of the other things that we have listed here, adding in links. We talk a lot about links when it comes to SEO. Those are really important with your link building strategy, adding, inbound and, links to other pages of your website, links to other blog posts that you've written within all of your blogs will really help Google, understand the hierarchy of your website and how it's laid out. And then it also helps, potential prospects who are landing on individual blog posts of yours from doing a search. It's going to make them, a lot more easier to find the information that they're looking for and to learn more about you and what you do.
Yeah. So again, any of the content that we are that you have in the 20 over 10 library that you would be adding in that we've created, I just want to reiterate this. We've done all of this for you. So if you're using our tools, like if you're using a piece from the library here, let's say, what could Biden's presidency mean for your future estate taxes? You can see here, you can preview all the content and all of these keywords, tax cut and jobs act, Biden's win mean for high income filers, like all of those are in these headers, which is what Amanda was talking about, these important places that you want to put those keywords. So we've already done that for you. And once you add in the post, the other really nice thing is you'll see we've already added in the SEO description for you, right? We've made it really, really SEO friendly, but you can change any of these things. And if you're creating your own content at home, you want to make sure you pay attention to those because whether you're using our platform or another one, you want to tell Google what your post is all about. And so you do it in those keyways, in these H1 and H2 tags, the big bold text that we see here. And you can see, you can select the different levels up there and then in these SEO descriptions. So I don't want to get too bogged down in the weeds, but that is what we're talking about when we're talking about making it SEO friendly. All right, so if we go back to Monday, you saw, before we forget about this, that at 4 p.m. we have comment on 5 posts. I don't care what platform you're on. I don't care if you do it on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. You should be choosing at least 2 social media platforms that are where your audience is spending their time. And those are the ones you want to prioritize. So, when we think about social media, we know Twitter is where we connect with journalists and the media. Facebook is where everybody over 50 hangs out. Instagram's great for people between 30 and 50, especially young women. LinkedIn is great for entrepreneurs, high income earners, managers, sales professionals, entrepreneurs. So, choose where you're going to spend your time. And then every single day, at the end of the day, I want you to pick 5 people's posts to leave a comment on. Why do I want you to do this? Because it builds reciprocity. So, social media is about being social, it's about building relationships. And if you always comment on Jane Smith's post, when you go to post something and Jane sees it, she's going to be a lot more likely to think, oh, Bill always comments on my post, I'm going to comment back on his. And comments are currency in social media. The more comments your post gets, the more LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter is going to say, that's a really great post. I'm going to show it to even more people. And that's how you get more and more people, more eyeballs seeing your post. So every single day you will see we've built in at 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, to pick 5 posts and leave comments on them. Optimally, this is like bare minimum is at least 5 a day. I would love for you to do this in the morning, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., again over lunch, and then again in the early afternoon, evening. So if you can, the goal is to get to the point where you're doing it 3 times a day on 2 of your social media platforms that you prefer. I hope that makes sense. And again, it's just the practice of getting in the habit of engaging with other people on social media. Amanda, do we have any questions we need to address?
Yeah, I was going to stop you and say there's a really good question from Trey asking, so when you're commenting, is it better for your company page to be commenting or for your individual advisors to be commenting?
That's a great question. So it's not always possible to comment, depending on the platform, from a business page on another page. So for instance, it's easier on Instagram to just, go in there for us as 20 over 10 and to find people and leave comments. It's a lot harder to do that on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, to do it from a business page, it's a little bit more difficult. It's easy to engage with people who've left a comment on our 20 over 10 posts. We can reply back to them. But as 20 over 10, it's not easy to just go find John Smith's post and engage with it. So it depends on the platform. Optimally, it's great to do it from whichever account that you are trying to build a following, right? So if you're trying to build a following from your business page, you want to do it from your business page. If you're trying to build it from your personal, do it from your personal. I will say that people, oh, sorry, hold on one second. My voice really wants to give out. People tend to build relationships with other people more than they do with brands. So the more you can have a face of your company, just like I'm sure many of you see my face all the time on behalf of 20 over 10, the more you're going to build a connection. So whether it's somebody in your C-suite, it's a marketing person, get somebody to be the face of your company and get them in front of the camera, get them to be on social media. You will build connection so much faster that way because people build relationships with other people. Okay, Amanda, do you mind taking over just for a second while I try to?
Yeah, of course. There's been some really good questions going on. I don't even know where to start. Suggestions. If you have suggestions for our content library, if you are a user, please send them to us. You can email them to marketing@20over10.com. We do our best to work any user suggestions into the next batch of content that's going to be released. So you can just email us, or if you're logged in to your account, there's also a little button you can click that says, have suggestions, let us know. You can just click that and it'll open up an email to us. Let's see, what else do we have?
I'm back. Sorry. Thank you. A good cough made a difference. Thank you all for worrying about me. I promise I'm fine. I've just been speaking too much, I think, lately. So that is a good question. I saw the other question about, is there a significance to the 4 p.m.?
Mm-hmm.
I just find a lot of people are mentally zapped at 4 p.m. So people tend to be on social media a lot around 4 p.m. At like towards the end of the day, they're like, Okay, I've done all of my hard stuff. You know how a lot of coaches will tell you to get the hardest projects done early on. It's fun to be on social media at the end of the day when you're starting to feel a little bit deflated. And so it's a good time to be active, and other people will be active then as well. So that's why I suggest that time, but whatever time works for you, it's not a significance to that time. So Tuesday at 10 a.m., we say finalize and publish the blog post on your website. There's a question that just came in regarding this. We do not at 20 over 10 automatically publish anything to anyone's website. And we do this for a couple different reasons. Number one, we don't want all of you to have the same posts at the same exact time going out on all of your websites, right? When it comes to canned content, we want you to think of the content we provide more as ghostwritten pieces that you can choose from and edit to be a great fit for you, and only choose the pieces that are going to work for you and for your particular type of client. So we do not auto push anything out. You need to come in and select what you want and add it before it will go up. And also, we do have a baked in compliance process. So once you've added it, it's not actually live on your website. You need to come over here to the publish step and push it through. Whatever platform you have, again, I don't want people who are not using 20 over 10 to feel like they're not getting anything out of this. The point is publish it early in the week, so then you're going to be able to share it throughout the rest of the week. So we don't auto publish to your website. You can use your own content or content from our library as is, or you can choose a piece and edit it to your liking to make it work for you. So let's move on to the next day. Let me just pull this back up. Okay. Did we go over everything? Oh, no, we didn't. So on Tuesday, we want you to post a link to that blog post on both Twitter and LinkedIn in this scenario. It could be Instagram and Facebook. Pick two of your platforms where you're going to post it. And you'll see here that Amanda has done a great job of choosing two different examples from the same firm and showing you that when you go to share it on different platforms, that you should be positioning it different depending on where you're sharing it. So you can see here, HCP Wealth, when they shared this on Twitter, it's very short, sweet, and to the point, like a Twitter post needs to be. Whereas here, it's much longer. They've used emojis to break up the text, and they've gotten to really the heart of what that post is all about. So do not post the exact same way across all platforms. You want to change it up depending on who your audience is. And we're big fans here of using emojis to stand out in the feed when you're posting, because they catch your eye a lot more. Any other questions we should take, Amanda?
Let's see. Oh, there was one question about, is there a significance to posting the blog on Tuesday versus another day of the week? It sounds like they're typically posting their blogs on Friday.
No, there isn't. Other than if you're trying to prep for the week, it's nice to have it early on. But if you want to post it on Friday and then follow this schedule, that's fine. I really want you all to walk away knowing that the proven part of the schedule is being active on social media at least once a day to do 5 comments, posting at least once a week to your website, and sharing what you've posted to your website multiple times on social media. Like, that's the key. We're just trying to break it up with times and when to do it to show you how you might position it and schedule it for the week. But as long as you do those things. So again, I'll just remind you, post 1 article per week to your website that has got the keywords you want to rank for in SEO. Comment on 5 other people's posts at least at a minimum once a day, every day, and then post your original blog post that you wrote and shared on your website to social media throughout the week. As long as you do those 3 things, you're good. So how you decide to do it and when is going to be up to each of you. But that is that's the part that's proven to work. Okay, so the next day shows up, you can see now we've got it posted to LinkedIn, right? So again, if we go back the day before, we were posting to Twitter, the next day posting to LinkedIn. You can vary it up. You do not need to, like, I see this mistake made all the time. Somebody writes a blog post and then they publish it, and then immediately they share it to 7 social media networks, right? All at once. You don't need to do it that way. You want to stagger it throughout the week and share it in a different way each time. So when you post it to LinkedIn at 8:45 in the morning, when a lot of people check LinkedIn on their getting ready for work time, I would say commute, but most people are not commuting anymore. You would position it in a different way. So next up on Wednesday, this is really a tried and true strategy that we've seen work for so many people, is post a community focused post to Facebook. So Facebook, more than any other social media platform, is really focused on community. I'm sure many of you, maybe raise your hand if you belong to your neighborhood Facebook group or your development's Facebook group, or a market like us, buy nothing group on Facebook, or there's so many different local groups on Facebook, right, that people belong to. And it's so great to belong to them and to join them. And what you can do as an advisor is share specific posts that are pertinent to your community. So there's an advisor that we know every single month on Friday, the end of the month, he will post a roundup of community events happening in his local Iowa town, because it's great. And he can tag all these different businesses, and everybody follows his account on Facebook because they want to see what's going on in the community, right? In this example here, we're a proud sponsor of The Last Inning, and they're talking about their local community ballpark. And this other one, they're talking about giving back to a local food bank. So do something that reminds people that you are a pillar of the community and post about it.
Mark, thanks for calling out my typo on that slide. So on Wednesday, you're posting, well, like Sam said, whatever social channels you're choosing out of the 2 that you're going to focus on. But in this case, Wednesday, we would be posting all to Facebook, because on Tuesday we were posting to Twitter and LinkedIn. So sorry for any confusion there.
Oh, and we just got a really good question from somebody about emojis on LinkedIn. And I get this question all the time. So actually, if you go to emojipedia.org, I know most people use the LinkedIn version, or the desktop version of LinkedIn. So many people are not using LinkedIn on their phone when they're already on their computer during the day. So if you go to emojipedia.org and you can just type in whatever it is, you can see many of the ones that I've used. And then it'll come up and you can choose which one you want, and then just copy and paste it into the desktop version. That's how you can get emojis on LinkedIn without being on your phone. Any other questions, Amanda, we want to take now before we go to Thursday?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay. So you're up. You're doing Thursday.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. So Thursday is going to be our newsletter day. So Thursday in the morning, usually 9:30, 10 o'clock is kind of a good time to send out your email newsletters. So we're going to send out our weekly newsletter. And for your weekly newsletter, really the best, way to kind of position them is to include something personal in them. So, not trying to be 100% salesy all the time, but include something personal in them. I think, Sam, you always share this great example. I can't remember who it is, but, they include, like a throwback to their favorite song, from when they were growing up, or, just something that people can relate to is important. Tools listed here too that you could be using if you're not using LeadPilot to send out emails and newsletters. Constant Contact, MailChimp, those are some other popular tools that you can be using. So once you send out your newsletter in the morning, what you're going to do is then go to social media and share that newsletter on your social media channels. So this screenshot that we have on here is an example from Chad Chubb, and he's, just sharing his weekly newsletter that just went out. I really like how he just kind of very quickly bullets out what's included in the newsletter using emojis. And he includes a link so people can subscribe to get the next newsletter. And then he's also tagging other people. So in his newsletter, he includes content from third-party sources as well, it looks like. So he's tagging them, which is only going to help increase his visibility on Twitter in this case. I guess another quick little pro tip for sharing your newsletters on social media is you can include a subscription link right in your bio so that it's always there and people will always have access to subscribe. And this will also help build up your email list too. And then I think, Sam, on the next slide we might have some tips on just other common email mistakes that that we see. Obviously the subject line is incredibly important. So for your subject lines, we just talked a lot about emojis. Emojis have a big role in subject lines, as I'm sure you see in your inboxes every day. Just don't overuse appropriately. Your subject line is pretty short, direct, but also intriguing, make someone want to click on them. Sender name is another thing we talk a lot about. Sometimes putting your personal name, versus your company's name it just makes it, give it that other next level personalization.
Like instead of saying, when you guys get emails from us, instead of it saying 20 over 10, you'll see it'll say Samantha Russell at 20 over 10 or Amanda at 20 over 10. You can do the same thing. It doesn't have to be, even if it's a company newsletter, it doesn't have to be the name of your company. It can be an individual at your company.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Timing, we kind of already talked about this. 10 a.m. tends to be the sweet spot. I have a link I can drop in the chat for you guys with some more info on timing and days for our industry for email sends.
We find Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the best. Thursdays for us get the most opens, and for many of you, but play around with it. Those are the 3 days we find on average: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, like Amanda said, 10, 11 a.m. Tend to get the highest open rate.
Yeah. And that's a good segue into the last point of just like not testing. Definitely play around with when you are sending your emails and kind of keep track of that and see which ones are getting the most traction, because what's working for us, obviously it might not work for you. So just kind of testing and keeping note of all of that will really help improve your emails moving forward.
So I just wanted to show you all when it comes to email specifically, what that looks like in our tool and how you would go in and think about editing it. So you can take any piece of content in our content library here in Lead Pilot. So the email tool that we have as part of our Lead Pilot platform. If you're interested in learning more about the difference between Lead Pilot and 20 over 10, stick around to the end and we can answer any questions about that. But just to show you what the email looks like, let's say, you want to do an email about a particular topic. So let's say it's this one. And this is a piece either that you wrote or you're using from our library. You come in here to create a draft. And then you can, when you go to share it, we can turn off. We're not going to share it right now to Facebook or Twitter, but it is nice that you can do everything in this one panel right here. And then you can customize. So do you want it to go to all your contacts or just one particular list? Maybe you only want to send it to employees of a certain company or people who live in a certain state or people who have a certain professional. Maybe you have a 65 and older list, right? It can be a lot of different things. You pick a list And then you'll see the subject line is automatically going to be whatever the title of your post is. It's going to use that as your subject, but you can also change it very easily in this platform and make it specific to something else, right? So you could just say something like traveling next week for Thanksgiving with your pet. Here's what you need to know. So you can see we have a very big mix in this library of financial topics specifically, as well as more lifestyle content. So this would be more lifestyle. But again, you can change any of these different sections to say what you want it to say. You can change the image. And then you can also change what the preview text in the inbox looks like. And also, if somebody decides that they want to get on your email subscriber list, a certain list, you can add them to certain pieces after the fact. So then you can go ahead and say, yes, I'm done. It'll show you exactly what it's going to look like. You can confirm everything and then go ahead and either do it now or schedule it for later. So once it is sent out, then in your dashboard, you can see under email engagement, different stats all in one place. And you can also go and look by particular contacts, like what they're opening, what they're clicking, what they're reading in here. So I'm not going to get into all of that specifically, but that would be like a one-off. A lot of you are asking about weekly versus monthly with email. I personally think you should have more than one list. So for your clients, you may have some clients that read everything you send them. And so sending them something once a week is great. A lot of other people would be bi-weekly, and then some people would be monthly. At a minimum, you want to do an email once a month. At a maximum, once a week. The sweet spot's probably every other week. And we do have curated campaigns that are email only as well. So for instance, right now you can see like this one is email only for first-time home buyers. And when you click on it, it's telling you what the campaign description is. They're going to get one email a week. And these are all of the different articles that will be sent to them over those 10 weeks. So it's a drip campaign, drip email system that is preloaded for you with all of this content. But again, you can also send your own emails through here as well. Are we getting any other questions about email, Amanda, that we should talk about before we move on?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, great. So the last day of the week, Friday, this is one of my favorite tips. Every single Friday, I want you to go out on a limb and trust me and try posting something personal or something fun, something not financial related necessarily. And I'm going to give you some ideas. So you could every Friday have someone from your team share a picture of themselves reading, like with a book that they've been reading, or maybe it's just the title of the book because everybody reads on Kindles these days and no one has physical books. It could be an inspirational picture. Maybe your audience loves to travel, so it's a destination that's a bucket list destination. It could be, we know a firm who, it's a gentleman who loves fly fishing, and all of his clients that he's really built his practice around the niche of fly fishing. So he shares like these crazy fish memes on Fridays. That could be one. It could be featuring a local business in your community or nonprofit organization. It could be a DIY. Maybe you love to DIY around your house, and it's updates on a DIY home project. Maybe it's a recipe. It really doesn't matter, but it should be something personal to either you or your team, a member of your team. And the reason we want you to do this is because nobody wakes up in the morning and goes to Facebook thinking, oh my gosh, I really hope I'm going to learn a new tax strategy right now while I'm on Facebook, right? Like nobody thinks that. People go to social media to be entertained, to build connection, to take a break, to escape from their day. And so these posts that you do something personal or something fun are going to be the most engaged with posts that you share, period. All of the time. We find that this holds true all the time. Just as Amanda said with email, if you're sharing an email newsletter and in your email you give an update about your kids or a trip you just took or one of these things as well, that's going to be the part of the email that everybody responds to. So we want you to close out the week by doing something fun like this, and we promise that it will make a difference. You could also do an inspirational quote or some sort of, stat. Again, just make it really, really personal, and it'll make a big difference. I did want to show you Canva because we get so many questions about social media posts and how to make them more engaging if you don't have a tool like Lead Pilot that does all the images and the graphics for you. So Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about how we use Canva, and I'll pull it up to show everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Canva has so many uses. It's, Sam and I were just talking about this earlier. You can kind of get lost in it because it can be fun to, for us folks who maybe aren't designers by trade. There's a lot of really great templates already, designed in here that you can pull from and kind of make your own. So, we use it for a lot of our marketing efforts. It's nice because we can pull in our brand colors so that no matter, if I'm using it or if Samantha goes in to use it, we have some consistency across, everything that we're pushing out. We're using the same color palettes, the same fonts, same logo, all that good stuff. But it's really user friendly. If you click on any one of your designs, it's click and type to change fonts. You can upload your own images, headshots, stock photos. You can change colors, like I said, really easily and adjust sizes, almost like a Word document. And then you can export it pretty much into any kind of file type that you need it to be, which is really handy for, if you're sharing on social or if you're going to send something in an email. They even have templates on here for reports if you need like a 5-page PDF report template. So there's a lot of different options in here.
Yeah, so definitely check Canva out. You can get a free account, and it's a great tool, especially if you have an intern or an admin or somebody in your team that can devote some more time to this. So I know we're running out of time, and we made it to Friday, which is awesome. Like, we're going to close out the week with having you comment, like, and share on others' posts, just as we mentioned. But I did want to also spend just a minute or two to talk with you about the awesome packet that Amanda has put together for all of you, which has some really great things for you all to use that are going to help you with this schedule. So the first thing is a social media editorial calendar. So you can see here, it shows you week by week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you have somebody on your team, you can ask them, put this together, and then come to you, and all you have to do is approve it, right? So if you don't have a tool like Lead Pilot where they can go in and schedule everything for you in advance, like our tool allows you to go in, you can see exactly what they've scheduled, you can click on all of them, see where it's being posted to. This is kind of, you're paying for the platform to do this all and make it really easy, but you can also use a spreadsheet. And so we've got the spreadsheet, the old school version of it here for you. And this is coming to you in an email for you to use. So again, if you want to pay for a tool like Lead Pilot, you can pay to do it this way. It makes it really easy. We give you the content, but you can also be more old school and use a spreadsheet like this. We also have a Google My Business checklist in here for you. This one's a little grainy. The one you get will be not grainy, but it gives you tips on making sure that that's up to speed so that people can find your business on Google. We also have an infographic form, the daily schedule that we went over today, an easy to read spot. And then remember, we talked about every week posting something to your website. We also have a blog editorial calendar spreadsheet template in here for you as well. So after you leave here today, you should have all of the tools that you need to get this done and to do it on your own. But we're not trying to talk you out of working with us. We would love for you to come and work with us if you need some help. We have our 20 over 10 website platform that includes a content library as well as our Lead Pilot tool. Lead Pilot is different in that it's not just a website and a content library. It's drip campaigns, social media scheduling, email marketing, lead scoring, landing pages for every single advisor in your team. We would encourage all of you, if you want to learn more about the tools, our marketing coach program, where you get to work with people just like us on our team to coach you through all of this. You can come to 20over10.com and just click schedule a demo to learn about both of those products. But let's close out with any remaining questions that we didn't get to, Amanda. What do people still have questions about?
Oh man, I feel like there's been so many questions, many good questions. I hope we've tried to do our best to email them all or respond to them all. Let's see. Why is it important to post different times rather than at the same time on social media?
The main reason is a lot of people, how many of you, let's just get a raise of hands. How many of you are somebody who will go to Facebook and then go check your LinkedIn or your Instagram or Twitter? Like, you check more than one platform at once. You when you go to social media, you don't just check one platform, you check more than one. Raise your hand if that's you, right? You are on Instagram for 5 minutes and then you go to Facebook for 5 minutes. So if you post at the same time everywhere, right, then people are going to see your post 3 times at once, potentially, rather than just keep being reminded of it during the week. And that is what you want. Again, it's all about dripping on people so that you're constantly top of mind and in front of them. It also gives you the ability to change up your messaging. So if you're posting about something on Facebook, right, a lot of people, when they're on Facebook, or the audience that you're focusing on Facebook, again, is that older, over 50 crowd, the message that you share with your post should be different and phrased different than if you were posting on Twitter, where it's a lot of other advisors hanging out and a lot of journalists and media that you might be trying to connect with. So it allows people not to see it all at once and it to be dripped on them. That's the main reason. Okay, I'm looking at the questions as well. Feel free to hang out and ask any other questions. Maybe Mark and I. So people are looking for, it looks like in the Q&A box, some people are saying maybe we can pull sources and share a marketing person full time. So if any of you want to go in with another advisor and hire somebody full time and they work for each of your firms 10 hours a week, it looks like there's some people looking to connect with you.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, me too. We do have a marketing coach program here at 20 over 10. You do need to be using our lead pilot tool to work with us, but we will implement this for you. So beyond just giving you the content and giving you the tools, you can also hire somebody on our marketing coach team, Nikki, Katie, they're all phenomenal marketers who will actually implement this for you. It's $2,500 a year. So it's an incredibly reasonable cost, but that's why we require you to be a lead pilot user, because the way we're able to do it is to use our tool, which makes it really easy. Let's see. A lot of questions about compliance. The reason I don't often get into compliance on these calls is some of you are independent RIAs who are doing all your compliance yourself. Others outsource compliance to a lawyer, and then still some of you are with a broker dealer. You need to ask your broker dealer what they do and don't allow. Some of your broker dealers allow you to use 20 over 10 and all of the content in our library without it, because they pre-approve it. Some of them still require you to push it out to them for pre-approval. Some of your compliance, certain broker dealers allow their advisors to use all of Lead Pilot. Some allow them only to use the email portion, or only the social portion, or only the content portion. Some allow them to use the whole thing or not at all. So it really is specific to your broker dealer if you're with a broker dealer, and you'll need to ask them. Or you can contact us and we can let you know if we know. But that's why I don't spend too much time getting into the nuts and bolts of compliance, other than to say we work with hundreds of broker dealers, custodians, large hybrid RIAs, and we do have great relationships with many. We have built-in compliance tools and approval systems, but how it actually works will be dependent on who your broker dealer is. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have time for, and we're exactly at 4 o'clock. So this is going to be sent out to all of you, as well as that packet with all of the resources. thank you so much for being here. If you're a 20 over 10 customer, we thank you for your business this year, especially 2020 was a rough year, I know, for a lot of people. And we're so glad we were able to help you market and grow. If you're not a customer already, but you were here today, thank you for joining us. And I hope you learned something that you can take and use in 2021 and beyond. Amanda, thank you for doing all the heavy lifting, putting that slide deck together and helping me out since I can't speak well today. So grateful for you.
You're a trooper.
So, thank you, everybody. And we will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.